Dear friends, take a moment, breathe deeply and observe. Life flows like a river, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent with waves crashing against the rocks. We all face moments when the current pulls us in directions we did not choose. Moments of pain, confusion, loss, or exhaustion. These are not punishments. These are signals. They whisper something must change. The turning point of your life is not a grand event that arrives from the outside. It is not found in waiting for better circumstances, for someone to save you, or for the world to align perfectly. No, the turning point begins within. It is the moment you stop running from discomfort and turn your eyes inward. In the Shaolin tradition, we train the body to endure hardness, so we may discover softness. We push through physical limits not to break ourselves, but to reveal strength already there. The same applies to the mind and spirit. When life brings storm, illness, failure, heartbreak, it is like heavy rain upon the mountain. At first, it erodes, it floods. But without this rain, no flower blooms, no river carves its path to the sea. Many people live their entire lives avoiding the storm. They distract themselves with endless pursuits, attachments, illusions of control. They tie their happiness to external things, possessions, approval, success. But these are like clouds passing in the sky. They come, they go. If you grasp at them, you suffer. The true turning point comes when you release the grasping. When you ask yourself, who am I without these attachments? What remains when everything external is stripped away? It is then that you awaken. You take ownership of your focus. You choose discipline over distraction. You train daily, not just the body through movement, but the mind through stillness, and the heart through compassion. Remember, life does not become easier. You become stronger. Every choice you make carries consequence. Every consequence opens new chances. So choose consciously. Start small, one breath at a time, one step at a time. Observe your thoughts like clouds. Do not chase them. Face your hindrances, desire that binds, anger that burns, laziness that weakens, doubt that paralyzes, pride that blinds. Take a moment. Close your eyes if you wish and simply breathe. Inhale deeply through the nose. Feel the air fill your body. Hold it gently, then release slowly through the mouth. Observe how the breath comes and goes on its own. This simple act, breathing, is the foundation of all life. Yet how often do we forget it? We rush through days, chasing goals, avoiding pain, clinging to pleasure, never pausing to notice the constant flow beneath it all. Life is exactly like a great river. Sometimes the water is still, reflecting the sky like a mirror. Other times it rages, rocks crash, waves rise high, the current pulls without mercy. We all know these turbulent moments: a sudden loss, a betrayal, an illness that arrives uninvited, a dream that collapses overnight. In those times, the mind screams, "Why me? This is unfair. I cannot bear it." We fight against the current, exhausting ourselves, believing that if we just hold on tightly enough, the storm will pass and everything will return to how it was before. But here is the truth that few wish to hear: nothing returns to how it was before. Everything changes. Every single moment. The river never flows backward. The past is already gone, carried away by the water. The future has not yet arrived. Only this present breath remains. And in this truth lies the seed of liberation. The turning point of your life is not a dramatic event announced by thunder or celebrated with applause. It is not found in a new job, a new relationship, a sudden windfall, or even in years of therapy, though all these may help point the way. No, the real turning point is quiet, subtle. It happens in the depths of your own being when you finally stop running from the discomfort and turn inward with honest eyes. In the ancient traditions of the temple, we train the body to meet hardness so that we may discover the softness that was always there. We strike the wood, endure the cold dawn, repeat movements thousands of times, not to become aggressive, but to uncover the strength that arises naturally when we no longer resist what is. The same principle applies to the inner world. The storms of life, grief, failure, confusion, anger are not punishments sent to break you. They are the heavy rain falling upon the mountain. At first, the rain erodes the surface. Mudslides occur. Rivers overflow. It feels destructive. Yet, without this rain, nothing grows. No seed cracks open. No flower pushes through the soil toward the light. No great river carves its magnificent path to the ocean. Most people spend their lives avoiding rain. They build shelters of distraction, endless scrolling, consumption, achievement, approval, seeking. They tie their peace to things outside themselves: money, status, relationships, beauty, power. But these are like clouds drifting across the sky. They appear solid, yet grasp them, and your hand closes on emptiness. The moment you depend on them for happiness, you suffer, because clouds always move on. The turning point arrives when you grow tired of chasing clouds. When you sit in the storm, soaked and shivering, and finally ask, who am I when everything external is taken away? What remains? In that question, something shifts. You release the grasping. You stop demanding that life be different. Instead, you begin to observe. You watch thoughts arise and pass like clouds, without chasing or rejecting them. You notice sensations in the body: tension, heat, restlessness, and you allow them to be, without adding stories of, this should not be happening. From this place of clear seeing, true strength emerges. You take full ownership of your attention. You choose discipline over distraction. You commit to daily practice, moving the body with awareness, sitting in stillness, training the mind to return again and again to the present. You cultivate compassion, first for yourself, then for others who are also caught in the river's currents. Life does not become easier. The rains still come, losses still occur, but you become different. You grow roots deep into the earth. You learn to bend like bamboo in the wind instead of breaking. You discover that freedom is not the absence of difficulty. It is the ability to meet difficulty with an open heart and steady mind. Every choice you make plants a seed. Every consequence is the sprouting of that seed. Every new circumstance offers fresh soil for new choices. So choose consciously. Begin small. One mindful breath, one honest step. Face the hindrances that have held you back. The pull of fleeting desires, the fire of anger, the heaviness of laziness, the restlessness of worry, the blindness of pride. Do not fight them with force alone. Understand them. Shine the light of awareness upon them, and they lose their power. This is the path of self-mastery. This is the turning point. Not a single moment in time, but a continual returning again and again to presence, to courage, to clarity. When you walk this path, you no longer wait for life to improve. You become the improvement, and in that transformation, you find something unbreakable, something vast, something peaceful. The turning point of your life is never imposed by the outside world. It does not arrive on a specific date marked on the calendar, nor does it come with fanfare, celebration, or external validation. It is not the day you receive a promotion, meet a special person, win a prize, or finally escape a difficult situation. Those moments may feel like relief, like progress, but they are only waves on the surface. Beneath them, the river continues to flow, carrying the same patterns, the same unseen currents, until something fundamental shifts inside you. This shift, this true turning point, is born in silence. It begins the moment you stop waiting for conditions to improve and decide with full responsibility that the change must start within your own heart and mind. No one can give this to you. No teacher, no book, no retreat, no amount of knowledge can force it upon you. It arises only when you grow weary of your own excuses, your own stories, your own endless search for comfort outside yourself. Many spend decades believing that happiness lies just ahead after this achievement, after that relationship ends or begins, after the body looks a certain way, after enough money is saved. They live in a constant state of not yet. But this not yet is a trap. It keeps the mind chained to the future while ignoring the only moment that truly exists, this one, right now. And in ignoring the present, we miss the opportunity to meet life directly, honestly, without filters. The turning point comes when you finally turn inward with courage, not to escape reality, but to face it completely. You sit with the discomfort you have avoided for years. You look at the fears that have controlled your choices. You acknowledge the habits that have kept you small. You see the attachments that have caused so much pain. Attachment to being right, to being liked, to being safe, to being in control. And instead of pushing these away or covering them with distraction, you allow them to be seen clearly without judgment. This clear seeing is the beginning of freedom. When you observe your thoughts and emotions without immediately reacting, you create space. In that space, wisdom arises naturally. You begin to understand that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your past mistakes nor your future worries. You are the awareness that watches them come and go, unchanging, like the sky that holds all clouds without being affected by any. From this awareness, true power emerges, not the power to control the world, that is illusion, but the power to choose your response in every situation, the power to remain steady when others panic, the power to act with clarity when confusion surrounds you, the power to let go when holding on only brings suffering. This internal turning point transforms everything. Relationships deepen because you no longer demand that others fill your emptiness. Work becomes meaningful because you no longer tie your worth to outcomes. Challenges become teachers because you no longer fear them. Even pain loses its sharp edge because you meet it with presence instead of resistance. But this turning point is not a single event. It is a direction, a commitment renewed every day, every hour, every breath. Some days you will forget and fall back into old patterns. That is natural. The practice is not to be perfect, but to return again and again to awareness, to discipline, to kindness toward yourself. When you live from this place, life no longer feels like something happening to you. It becomes something you meet fully, with open eyes and an open heart. Difficulties still arise, but they no longer define you. You become like a mountain, unmoved at the core, even as storms pass over the slopes. This is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Not comfort, not success, but sovereignty over your own mind, freedom from the endless cycle of grasping and aversion. The quiet strength to live authentically, no matter the circumstances. And when you embody this, something beautiful happens. You become a living example. Others sense it. They feel the steadiness in your presence. Without words, you remind them of what is possible. So do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until you feel ready. The turning point begins now, in this breath, in this choice, in this willingness to turn inward and take full responsibility for your life. In the ancient teachings of the temple, we do not seek to avoid hardship. We meet it directly. We train under the cold morning sky, strike the wooden dummy until hands bleed, run the mountain paths until legs tremble, not because we enjoy pain, but because we understand the profound truth. Without pressure, no diamond forms. Without fire, no steel is forged. Without the heavy rain pouring down the mountainside, no seed buried in darkness ever breaks open to reach the light. The storms of life, loss, failure, illness, rejection, betrayal arrive without warning. In those moments, the mind contracts. The heart closes, we feel eroded, flooded, overwhelmed. We cry out, "This is too much. This will destroy me." And in that cry, we resist what is already happening. This resistance multiplies suffering tenfold. It is like standing in the river and fighting the current. The more we struggle, the faster we tire, the deeper we are pulled under. Yet if we pause, if we stop fighting for just one breath, something changes. We begin to see that the rain is not the enemy. The rain is necessary. Without it, the mountain remains barren rock. No soil softens, no roots deepen, no flowers bloom in spring. No great river gathers strength to carve canyons of breathtaking beauty on its journey to the sea. Every challenge you have ever faced, every heartbreak, every disappointment, if every moment you fell to your knees, carried within it the same potential. Not to break you, but to awaken you, to wash away what was superficial, to erode the false layers you built for protection, the masks of pretense, the walls of pride, the illusions of permanent safety. These layers feel solid, but they are only mud-hardened by time. The rain softens them. The flood carries them away, and beneath, something truer emerges. Most people fear this erosion. They spend their lives building higher walls, seeking stronger shelters, chasing distractions to avoid feeling the rain on their skin. They believe comfort is the goal. They believe if they can just arrange life perfectly, the right partner, the right career, the right body, the right reputation, then peace will finally arrive. But peace built on avoidance is fragile. The moment the storm comes, and it always comes, the shelter collapses and suffering returns deeper than before. The turning point comes when you stop building shelters and instead open yourself to the rain. When you stand in the downpour, arms wide, allowing it to soak through every layer. At first, it is cold. It stings. You shiver. But if you remain present, something extraordinary happens. You notice that beneath the discomfort of the rain, something in you remains untouched, calm, vast, unmoved, like the mountain itself shaken on the surface, yet immovable at the core. This untouched essence is your true nature. It was always there, waiting beneath the layers. The difficulties of life are not punishments, they are the rain that reveals it. When you understand this, your relationship to challenge transforms. Pain no longer feels like an enemy to defeat. It becomes a teacher to honor. Failure no longer defines your worth. It becomes fertile ground for new growth. Loss no longer empties you. It creates space for something deeper to enter. You begin to welcome the rain, not because you enjoy discomfort, but because you trust its purpose. You know that every storm passes, clouds move on, the sky clears, and when it does, the mountain stands taller, cleaner, stronger, rivers flowing with greater clarity, flowers blooming with colors more vivid than before. This is the gift hidden in every hardship, the opportunity to grow beyond who you were yesterday, to become more resilient, more compassionate, more awake. So when the next storm arrives, and it will, do not run, do not curse the sky, stand firmly, breathe heat deeply, allow the rain to fall. Trust that it is carving you into something magnificent. For without the rain, no flower ever blooms. Every day we chase, we reach outward, for praise, for pleasure, for possessions, for people, if for power, for perfect moments. We believe that if we can just hold on to these things tightly enough, happiness will finally stay. We tie our peace to a beautiful face, a growing bank account, a rising status, a flawless body, a dream relationship. We say to ourselves, when I have this, I will be enough. When this stays, I will be safe. And for a short time, it feels true. The new car shines. The compliment warms the heart. The vacation photo looks perfect. But soon the shine fades. The warmth cools. The moment passes. And emptiness returns, louder than before. This is the nature of grasping. It is like trying to hold water in your hands. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. It is like chasing clouds across an endless sky. Running, breathless, always believing the next one will finally satisfy. You catch it for an instant, but it dissolves the moment you touch it. Clouds were never meant to be caught. They are meant to be watched, allowed to drift, appreciated for their beauty as they change shape and vanish. Yet most of us live our entire lives chasing clouds. We scroll through screens comparing ourselves to others' highlights. We work endless hours for titles that will soon feel hollow. We stay in relationships that drain us because we fear being alone. We buy more, eat more, drink more, achieve more, anything to fill the quiet ache inside. And when the ache returns, we blame the world. Life is unfair. People let me down. Things never last. We never pause to see the real cause. We are grasping at what was never solid to begin with. The turning point comes on the day you grow tired of empty hands. You sit quietly, perhaps after another loss, another disappointment, another night of restless searching. And you ask a simple question: who am I when nothing external remains? When the praise stops, when the money is gone, when the body ages, when the person leaves, what is left? At first, the question feels terrifying. The mind races to distract you. It offers new goals, new distractions, new clouds to chase. But if you stay with the question, if you breathe through the fear, something shifts. You begin to let go. You stop demanding that life stay pleasant. You stop demanding that people behave as you wish. You stop demanding that the body remain young, that success remain constant, that feelings remain comfortable. You loosen your grip one finger at a time, and in that loosening, space appears. Space to feel the breeze. Space to hear your own heartbeat. Space to notice thoughts drifting like clouds. Beautiful, fleeting, not yours to own. This is freedom. Not the freedom of having everything you want, but the freedom of no longer needing everything you want. When you release grasping, suffering loses its fuel. Joy becomes possible in ordinary moments. A warm cup of tea, the sound of rain on the roof, a genuine smile from a stranger. Peace no longer depends on conditions being perfect. It lives inside you, steady and quiet, untouched by the changing sky. Relationships transform. You love without chains. You give without expecting return. Work transforms. You act with full effort, yet rest easily in the outcome. The body transforms. You care for it gently, without hatred or obsession. Even pain transforms. You feel it fully, yet it no longer defines you. Letting go is not giving up. It is growing up. It is choosing maturity over endless craving. It is trading exhaustion for ease, tension for flow, fear for trust. Start small today. Notice one thing you are grasping. Perhaps approval, perhaps control, perhaps a memory you replay. Open your hand. Watch it drift away like a cloud. Feel the lightness that follows. Do this again tomorrow. And the next day, each release is a step deeper into freedom. When you live without grasping, life becomes vast. The sky is no longer something to conquer. It is your home. Clouds come and go, storms rise and pass, sun appears and warms everything. And you remain, open, awake, fully alive. There comes a moment, quiet, almost unnoticed at first, when the endless searching stops. You have chased long enough. You have suffered enough. You have distracted yourself enough. One day, perhaps after another cycle of hope and disappointment, you sit alone in the stillness. No music, no screen, no voice but your own breath. And in that silence, a question rises from the depths. Who am I, truly, beneath all these layers? This is the beginning of awakening. It is the moment you release the grasping and turn the light of attention inward. Not to fix yourself, not to become better, but simply to see clearly what is already here. For years, you have lived identified with the surface, with thoughts that race, emotions that surge, stories about who you are and what you lack. You believed you were the anger when it burned. You believed you were the fear when it gripped. You believed you were the sadness when tears fell. You believed you were the success when praise came, and the failure when it withdrew. This identification kept you trapped in a small, fragile self, constantly defending, constantly seeking, constantly afraid of losing what little you thought you had. But awakening reveals a deeper truth. You are not the thoughts. You are not the emotions. You are not the body that changes. You are not the roles you play: parent, worker, friend, achiever, sufferer. These are waves on the surface of the ocean. They rise, they crash, they dissolve. Yet the ocean itself remains vast, deep, undisturbed. When you release the grasping, you stop mistaking the waves for the ocean. You stop chasing pleasant waves and fleeing painful ones. you rest in the depths. Thoughts come, you watch them pass. Emotions arise, you feel them fully, yet do not become them. Memories surface, you observe without clinging. Future worries appear, you notice them as clouds, not truth. In this release, space opens, clarity dawns. You see how much energy was wasted in resistance, in judgment, in endless becoming. You see how suffering was not caused by life's events, but by your refusal to allow them to flow through. And from this clear seeing, something beautiful emerges: ownership. You take full responsibility for where you place your attention. No longer a victim of circumstances, you become the master of your inner world. You choose to return to presence again and again. You choose discipline when distraction calls. You choose kindness when judgment arises. You choose courage when fear whispers to retreat. This ownership is power, not the power to control the outer world, which is impossible, but the power to remain steady within it. Storms still come, waves still crash, but you no longer drown. You float, you navigate, you even begin to enjoy the rhythm of the sea. Awakening is not a distant goal. It is available in this very moment. Right now, as you listen to these words, notice the sensation of your body sitting or standing. Notice the air on your skin. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the thoughts reading this sentence. Who is noticing? That awareness, silent, unchanging, ever present, is your true nature. It was never lost. It was only overlooked while you chased shadows. Return to it again and again. Each return strengthens the awakening. Each return deepens the peace. Each return reminds you, you are already whole. Nothing external can add to you. Nothing external can take away from you. When you live from this place, life opens. Colors become brighter. Sounds become richer. Connections become deeper. Even difficulties become meaningful opportunities to practice returning, to practice staying awake. This is the turning point made real. Not a single dramatic event, but a quiet revolution in how you meet each moment. A shift from sleepwalking to full presence, from grasping to openness, from fear to trust. You awaken not to escape life, but to live it fully with eyes wide open, heart unguarded, spirit free. Many believe strength is found in pushing harder, achieving more, controlling everything around them. They train only the body to lift heavier weights, the mind to outsmart others, the will to force outcomes. They mistake force for power, but force exhausts. It breaks. It depends on conditions staying favorable. When the weight becomes too heavy, when the opponent is stronger, when life refuses to bend, the false strength collapses, and with it, the person. Real strength is different. It does not come from adding more. It comes from returning to what is essential. Life does not become easier. You become stronger. This is the quiet truth that changes everything. In the temple, we rise before dawn. We move slowly at first, then faster. We strike, we stretch, we hold postures until muscles tremble and breath burns. We sit in stillness until the mind rebels and every distraction screams for attention. We do this not to become invincible warriors who never feel pain. We do this to train the body, mind, and heart to meet whatever arises, without breaking, without fleeing, without losing center. The same training is available to every person, every day. You do not need a temple. You need only commitment, daily practice, small, consistent acts of returning to presence. When you choose to move your body with awareness, walking, stretching, breathing deeply, you remind yourself, I am here. When you choose to sit in silence, even for 5 minutes, watching thoughts without following them, you remind yourself, I am not the storm, I am the space that holds it. When you choose to eat slowly, to listen fully, to work with full attention, you remind yourself, this moment is enough. Discipline is not punishment, it is love. It is the gentle hand guiding you back when distraction pulls. It is the quiet voice saying, return, train, grow. Over time, the small choices compound. The body becomes resilient. The mind becomes clear. The heart becomes open yet unbreakable. People wait for life to become easier. They say, when the children are older, when the job is secure, when the pain goes away, then I will train, then I will find peace. But waiting is the illusion. Life never becomes easier. Obstacles never stop appearing. The boss changes, the body ages, relationships shift, new crises arrive. If you wait for calm waters, you will never train. And without training, you remain fragile, tossed by every wave, exhausted by every current. The turning point is the day you stop waiting and start training. You accept that difficulties will always come, and you choose to meet them stronger than yesterday. You train not to escape life, but to live it fully. You train the body to endure discomfort, so the mind learns it can endure anything. You train the mind to return to stillness, so the heart learns it can remain open in chaos. You train compassion, first for your own struggles, then for others, so loneliness dissolves. This daily training builds the kind of strength no external force can take away. When loss comes, you grieve fully yet do not shatter. When failure arrives, you learn deeply yet do not collapse. When anger rises, you feel it burn yet do not become the fire. You bend like bamboo in wind, flexible, rooted, alive. Life does not become easier. The rains still fall, the rivers still rage, but you become the mountain, steady at the core, allowing water to flow around and through, carving deeper beauty with every storm. Begin today, one breath with full awareness, one movement with full presence, one moment of choosing discipline over distraction. Repeat tomorrow and the next day. Strength grows not in dramatic leaps, but in quiet returns. Every moment, you stand at a crossroads, often unseen, often unnoticed. A thought arises, do you follow it or let it pass? A feeling surges, do you act on it or observe? Someone speaks harshly, do you react with anger or respond with pause? You buy, you eat, you speak, you scroll, you work, you rest. Each action begins with a choice, however small. Most choices are made unconsciously, driven by habit, fear, desire, old patterns repeating like echoes in a canyon. But when you awaken, when you take ownership of your attention, you begin to choose consciously. You pause before reacting. You ask, does this serve my deepest intention? Does this align with the person I wish to become? Does this bring clarity or confusion, freedom or bondage? This pause is the seed of transformation. One conscious choice plants a new direction. Every choice carries consequence, not as punishment or reward, but as natural law, like dropping a stone into still water. Ripples spread. Speak kindly and connection deepens. Speak harshly and distance grows. Move the body daily and energy flows. Neglect it and heaviness settles. Focus the mind on gratitude and peace expands. Feed it complaint and bitterness takes root. Consequences are not always immediate. Sometimes they unfold slowly over months, years, decades. But they always come. The life you live today is the harvest of yesterday's choices. Yet here is the gift hidden within consequence. Every outcome opens new chances. Failure does not end the story. It reveals what must be learned. Loss does not empty you forever. It creates space for something new. Betrayal does not prove the world cruel. It teaches discernment. Success does not mean you have arrived. It invites humility. Every consequence, whether painful or pleasant, is fresh soil. In it, you may plant again. Most people fear consequences. They avoid risk to avoid failure. They cling to comfort to avoid loss. They repeat safe choices, wondering why life feels stagnant. They blame circumstances, other people, fate, anything but their own past choices. This keeps them trapped in cycles, harvesting the same bitter fruit again and again. The turning point comes when you embrace the chain fully. You accept responsibility, not with guilt, but with clarity. You see, my life is the result of my choices. My future will be shaped by the choices I make now. This acceptance is liberating. It ends victimhood. It restores power. From this place, you choose differently. You choose presence over distraction, discipline over indulgence, courage over avoidance, honesty over pretense, compassion over judgment. You choose the harder path in the moment because you trust the longer ripple. You train daily, not for instant reward, but because you understand compounding. Small conscious choices, repeated, reshape everything. And when consequences arrive, difficult or beautiful, you meet them as teachers. You extract the lesson. You adjust. You plant again in the new soil. Chance after chance appears, not as random luck, but as openings created by your growing wisdom. This is how life becomes a conscious creation. Not a series of accidents, but a deliberate journey. You no longer drift down the river helpless against the current. You become the one who steers, gently, wisely, moment by moment. Begin now. In this breath, make one conscious choice. Speak truthfully, move intentionally, listen deeply, forgive fully. Let go of one old habit. Feel the ripple begin, tomorrow and the next day. Over time, consequences shift. New chances bloom. The garden of your life transforms. Dear friends, let us now face the 5 shadows that have followed humanity since ancient times, the hindrances that bind the mind, weaken the spirit, and keep us from the path of true freedom. These 5 are not enemies from outside. They arise within every heart. They whisper constantly, pulling us away from clarity, from discipline, from awakening. The sages of old named them clearly: sensual desire that binds like chains, ill will that burns like fire, sloth and torpor that weigh like stone, restlessness and worry that scatter like wind, and doubt that blinds like fog. First, the pull of sensual desire. It promises pleasure in taste, touch, sight, sound, thought. It says just one more bite, one more scroll, one more purchase, one more fantasy, and you will be satisfied. But satisfaction never lasts. The pleasure fades and the craving returns stronger. It chains you to endless chasing, never allowing rest. You become a slave to fleeting sensations, fearing the quiet that might reveal the emptiness beneath. Second, ill will anger, resentment, hatred, even subtle irritation. It burns hot at first, giving a false sense of power. You feel righteous, justified. but the fire consumes you from within. It poisons sleep, tightens the body, darkens the mind. Held long enough, it becomes a wall separating you from others, from compassion, from peace. Third, sloth and torpor the heaviness that says, not today, later. Tomorrow, the body feels tired, the mind foggy. You delay practice, delay effort, delay facing what must be faced. This hindrance is subtle. It disguises itself as needed rest, as wisdom in taking it easy. But it slowly erodes will, dulls awareness, and leaves life unlived. Fourth, restlessness and worry, the mind that cannot settle. It jumps from past regret to future fear, planning, rehearsing, imagining disasters. The body fidgets. Sleep escapes. Even in stillness, there is agitation. This wind scatters your energy in 1,000 directions, leaving no strength for what truly matters. Fifth, doubt the deepest shadow. It whispers, this path is not real. You are not capable. Nothing will change. Why bother? It paralyzes action, undermines trust, keeps you circling in old patterns. Doubt blinds you to your own progress, to the light already present. These 5 hindrances are universal. No one escapes them entirely. They arise because we are human, but most people fight them with force, suppressing desire, punishing anger, forcing wakefulness, controlling thoughts, arguing with doubt. Force only strengthens them. They retreat for a moment, then return fiercer. The true way is different. It is the way of clear awareness. When a hindrance arises, do not run. Do not fight. Turn toward it with gentle, steady attention. Observe, where do I feel this in the body? What thoughts feed it? What am I believing in this moment? Shine the light of mindfulness upon it, without judgment, without story. In that clear seeing, the hindrance loses power. Desire reveals its emptiness. Anger reveals its pain. Sloth reveals its fear. Restlessness reveals its search for safety. Doubt reveals its protection of the old self. Understanding arises naturally, and with understanding comes release. This is the path of self-mastery, not to become perfect, free of all shadows, but to meet each shadow with courage and wisdom, to train daily through movement, through stillness, through conscious choice, so that when hindrances appear, if you recognize them quickly and return to center, over time, they visit less often. They stay shorter. They lose their grip. You walk lighter. You see clearer. You live freer. Do not fear these 5. They are your teachers in disguise. Each time one arises, it offers a chance to practice, to awaken, to grow stronger. Dear friends, we have walked together through this reflection. From the flowing river of life to the quiet moment when everything shifts within. From the rain that seems to destroy, yet carves beauty into the mountain, to the open hand that releases the clouds we once chased. From the awakening that reveals your true, vast nature, to the daily training that forges unbreakable strength. From the sacred chain of choice, consequence, and new chance to the clear light shone upon the 5 shadows that no longer hold you captive. All these threads lead to one place here, this moment, this breath. The turning point of your life is not waiting in some distant tomorrow. It is not hidden in grand achievements or perfect conditions. It is not a single thunderclap that changes everything forever. It is quieter. It is continual. It is the gentle, persistent return again and again to presence, to courage, to clarity, to compassion. Every time you choose awareness over distraction, Every time you meet difficulty without resistance. Every time you loosen your grasp on what cannot be held. Every time you train one more day. Every time you make one conscious choice. Every time you turn toward a hindrance with understanding rather than force. You step deeper into self-mastery. You step deeper into freedom. You step deeper into the life you were meant to live fully, openly, powerfully. The world will continue to change. Storms will rise. Rivers will flood. Clouds will drift. But you, rooted like the mountain, vast like the sky, flowing like clear water, will meet it all with steady heart and open eyes. This is the greatest power there is, not to control life, but to live it completely. Not to escape suffering, but to transcend it through wisdom. Not to wait for peace, but to become it